Give me 1 second. Let me put you on the link.
What if I told you a brand new film stock just dropped? Re-engineered, reimagined, and built to fix everything you didn't love the first time around. This is Harman Phoenix version 2, and I'm putting it to the test across city streets, quiet landscapes, dreamy portraits, and yes, even the chaos of the night. Will this film be anything like the original, or will we see the birth of a new era of 35mm color films rising from the ashes? Alright, check this out. This is Harman Phoenix version 2, a 200 ISO color negative film from the UK-based photo company Harman. Now, Harman claims this is a completely new emulsion from its predecessor, with improved contrast in grain, improvements also to just overall accurate color palettes. They also say that there is better highlight retention and detail, and just overall better exposure latitude. And if you've ever shot the original Phoenix 200, you know that it has earned a reputation. Super saturated reds, funky grain, sometimes even inconsistent exposure, but also charm. And honestly, it was wild, it was raw, it was very experimental. But now with version 2, Harman is saying it is new and improved. Now, the camera that I chose to shoot this film with today is my trusty Minolta XD11. I got it paired up here with the beautiful 45mm f2 Pancake. And really overall, I just want to see how this film is going to perform in a couple of different scenarios. First, out here on the streets of San Francisco for street photography. I want to shoot some portraits as well. I got my buddy Gable behind the camera today, so I will be shooting some very handsome portraits of this guy right here. But we're also gonna go out to the coast to catch the sunset. And then after we catch the sunset, shoot some nice landscapes. We're gonna pull it back into the city and try to shoot this at night to see if it can give off a cinematic feel. Now, initially when the first Harman Phoenix launched, I was really curious to see if it would be one of the new staple films of the community. I do think because it was the first emulsion, there were some things to kind of improve on, but Harman says they've improved a lot in this version 2. And I'm very curious to see if this is gonna be the next film stock. Is it gonna be the film stock for the summer, or will this be the next big thing? Without further ado, let's load it up. Dude, look at the packaging on that. Okay, that kind of reminds me of like the Monster energy.
I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what, the blue is interesting. I wonder if that's gonna be like sort of a color cast on it, or if that's just part of the packaging. All right, so just like the original film, it kind of has that same almost look to it, this like nice yellow underbase. Feels nostalgic. King James doesn't know how to load a film camera. Just like that, we're ready to go. Let's get shooting. Oh, wait, stay right there. Hold on, stay right there. No, this is it. This is gonna be my first shot. 3, 2. Hopefully that one turned out, I don't know. Cold in the city today. Oh man, earlier when we were shooting the intro, there was like this really beautiful light. So one of the biggest things about Harman Phoenix, the original, was the contrast. It was a very, very contrasty film. Now, being a completely new emulsion, it excites me to know what exactly, does this film look like. We're really shooting this thing blind. If you're ever in San Francisco, by the way, look at these green poles. Now look up. That's the original paint up there. So don't be fooled by these street poles. Further. Let me go back this way. Ave Maria. So we're heading towards Chinatown right now because the light is just overall a lot more warm and rich in Chinatown sometimes. So I really want to see now, how does this film handle warmth? Is it going to be, you know, relatively close to what the original Phoenix was? Why not? Why in San Francisco, right?
I can't jump in front of him.
Got it. Hop on that rock right there. Hop on that little ball right there. Yeah, like do like a portrait in there. Let's get it. Okay. Pop that leg up. Let's see what that looks like. Got it. So you guys got to see how this film performed so far for street photography, but I have not yet. So do me a favor, comment down below what you guys think so far about how it performed for street. We're about to head off to grab some food real quick and then head over to the coast, hopefully to catch sunset. But so far, what are your thoughts on Harman Phoenix Mark II? Now before we move on to photographing the coast as well as try this film out during the nighttime, I want to take a break and thank the sponsor for this portion of the video, which are the good folks over at Squarespace. Squarespace is your all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Now whether you are a professional photographer or you're just someone who's getting started, a website is an absolute essential for your photography. And if you've never created a website before, Squarespace has you covered with cutting-edge design tools like Blueprint AI, which allows you to just answer a few questions and it'll help tailor the perfect website for you. Or if you want to start from scratch, you can choose from one of Squarespace's award-winning templates to get started within minutes. Additionally, you can create beautiful galleries and portfolios displaying some of your best work, whether that be portraiture or even street photography. And one of my favorite features is the online e-commerce shops you can set up that allows you to sell both physical as well as digital products. Now, I've been using Squarespace for over 6 years, and one thing that I can appreciate is that Squarespace always introduces new features, making your website always updated and modern. So if you want to build your dream website today, head over to squarespace.com/kingjapes and enter promo code kingjapes at checkout to receive 10% off of your first purchase of a domain or a website. Huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. All right, so we're at the coast. This is not the weather we were expecting. I was expecting it to be a lot more sunny because it was hot and sunny in the city, but that's San Francisco weather for you. But I have a beautiful view coming over this little ledge right here. You get the, amazing California coast, whether or not it's sunny or gloomy like this, it's still pretty enchanting. But yeah, welcome to the coast, baby. Now, a couple of things to note. This is pretty overcast. And in theory, overcast weather is supposed to, essentially provide like a softbox. So I'm curious to see, if we do shoot a portrait with even light, how is it gonna look? With skin tones, overall with grain, with contrast, what is this film gonna look like? So I'm gonna do a quick little portrait of my boy Gable real quick. He's back here making photos as well. So let's see real quick how it performs in overcast weather. You ready? Why'd you turn like that, bro? All right, so we're back in the city. It is now nighttime, so we're gonna walk around here, take a couple images. We're near North Beach, so we're gonna head there now, but I'm curious to see how this film will perform at night, if there's any like halation effects, associated with the characteristics, and if it can almost look like a movie film. I think it looks really dreamy and moody, shooting in night scenes like this, and hopefully the film can kind of help bring that to life. So we got 9 seconds, let's go. I personally love shooting late at night. Shooting at nighttime overall is just like safety, man. This is San Francisco. And oh my gosh, those freaking, dude, that scared the crap out of me. Why is it looking at me? Okay, I get weirded out at night. If I didn't get weirded out shooting at night, I'd be taking pictures all day long, but. All right, so that's the end of the roll. I don't know how it looks again. Oh, dude, I'm so mad I missed that. We're gonna go back home now, and hopefully we could try to tell you how it looks in about a few days. All right, so now that we've gotten to shoot the film and you've seen it in real world, I want to break down this film and tell you exactly what I think about it. Now, first and foremost, I do want to say props to Harman for coming out with a brand new emulsion. It's not easy to create any new 35mm film, yet again, just improve on the last version. I definitely do see a huge improvement here. Now, there's a couple of characteristics that Harman Phoenix version 2 has that I definitely noticed while looking at these images for the first time. The first one here being the highlights have sort of like a magenta tint to it. Now, I thought this was only in shots that were maybe overcast, but I also shot this roll during Pride in San Francisco, and there was an insane amount of magenta in the sky as well. Typically, all of your sky, whether it is, blue or whether it is in overcast weather, is going to have that magenta tint, and that is something to definitely be aware of. Now, with that said, these were all scanned using a Noritsu scanner from a professional film developing lab, which is something to keep in mind. I think that if you are going to be sending your film into a lab, it might end up looking like this. But I've seen some examples online that were scanned using the DSLR method or mirrorless method, and they look slightly different. One thing that I noticed with my results here was that in the underexposed areas, or in the shadows I should say, it has sort of like a green tint to it. I do think this is roughly due to the scanner, as I've seen other people's results with the DSLR scans and they don't really have that green tint. Another huge characteristic of Harman Phoenix II is going to be the contrast. Now, Do you remember the original Phoenix and how contrasty those images were? I remember I couldn't even say they were usable unless I pulled the contrast slider all the way back. Now, with this film, these were all not edited at all. You guys are seeing the pure scan from the lab. It has sort of this low contrast type of look, almost like a lo-fi look. And I think this can be, an aesthetic that a lot of people love, but at the same time, I don't think it's something that I would want in an everyday color film. When you combine that as well with, the grain structure of Harman Phoenix II, it almost looks like you're shooting an old expired roll of film. Now, Harman does say you can shoot this anywhere between 100 to 200 ISO, but personally, after shooting it at 200 ISO, I feel like I would need to try it out at 125. Some of these images feel slightly underexposed, and I do think it could benefit from shooting it maybe at like 125 or maybe even 100 ISO. And how is that going to affect contrast? I am not sure, but I definitely want to give it a try, so I will make a follow-up video on that. Another characteristic of this film stock that almost kind of resembles an expired film aesthetic is sort of that low saturation. You don't really see deep colors out of this film stock. Where I do feel like this film shined the most though is in the lower light settings at nighttime, and that's kind of a crazy thing to think about. This is a 200 ISO color film. It's meant to be shot in, more available light. Yet again, my favorite shots from it came from the nighttime scenes. And just as I was expecting, you do get some halation in these lights, which is pretty interesting because you only see that in, cine films. The colors as well seem to pop a bit more during the nighttime, and it makes for a really interesting combination that I don't really get to see in a lot of color films. Now here is my final verdict on what I think of Harman Phoenix version 2. First of all, I do think it is a great improvement over the original film stock. It's definitely a film that I will be continuing to shoot in the near future, but to be completely honest, I don't think this is going to be an everyday film for me. I love that it has its own unique look. It's very different from any other film stock that we have on the market today. There's a certain vibe to it that I feel like a lot of people could really benefit from using, specifically folks who like to document lifestyles. So, the everyday kind of going to the coffee shop or maybe even going out with some friends and documenting this as well. That look that you get from this film 20 years down the road is going to be preserved, and you're going to look at these images and say, wow, you can easily tell that was shot on film. Most 35mm film stocks sort of have their own unique look, but this one stands out to me because it's just so different than anything we see on the market today. But when I say I don't think this is going to be an everyday film for me, I don't want you to get it twisted and think that I do not like this film stock. I actually do, but in my eyes, I think this film stock is a very specialized film stock. You take it out for special occasions, and as a result, if I were to give this film a rating out of 10, I would give this a solid 7.4. But that is going to wrap it up for me, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave me comments down below what your thoughts are on Phoenix 2, as well as, the characteristics that you enjoy. Thank you for watching till the very end, and if you did, drop a comment and say Potato Farm. But that's going to wrap it up. I'll see you in the next episode. As always, Minolta Gang.